Good morning from London and welcome to today's session for THE Student Careers Week. I'm Jamie Ramacati, Head of Content for Student Events here at THE Student, and I'm really excited to be joined by Joanne and Catherine from Moresby, who are going to deliver a session today all about what to consider when you don't know what you want to do. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please submit any questions for Joe and Catherine there. I know they have a very full presentation for you, so without further ado, I will hand it over to them. Joanne and Catherine, thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you very much, Jamie. So I hope you can all see the screen now. While we just wait for 1 minute for any latecomers, please do follow the URL on the slide that you can see and type in your current location. It would just be great for Catherine and I to know where everyone is watching from. Currently, Catherine and I are in the home counties outside of London in England. So it'd be lovely to know where you're from. We'll be using the same URL throughout the presentation just to ask for you to contribute in some ways to what's going on in the presentation. The idea of using this URL as well is so that you can start to think about your own career journey and that you get something to take away, something out of, and some thought has been put into what you hear today in the presentation. So I'll just give another 30 seconds to see if any responses come in. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Lovely, so we've got one. Oh, lovely, Italy, fantastic. So just some more European neighbours there, which is nice to see. Oh, Thailand, okay, moving slightly further afield, how lovely. Oh, just to say, it is actually sunny in England today. So we're looking at all these beautiful locations. I've got some in the Q&A. People have put stuff in the Q&A. So I've got India and Indonesia as well. Fantastic. Lovely. So we've got quite a nice range of locations here as well. Fantastic. Okay. I will leave that there for now because, as Jamie says, we do have a lot of content to get through. That's because this is quite a big topic. So welcome to our Careers Week presentation, where we're going to look at what you need to consider when you don't know what career you want to do. My name's Joanne Carrington. I'm a careers advisor for Moresby for the past 4 years and a careers consultant for the London School of Economics for 9 years prior to that. And I've got Catherine with me today.
Yeah, so I'm Catherine Skinner and I've been a careers advisor for over 25 years. The last 8 of those I've worked for Moresby. And over the years, I've also worked for a UK careers guidance organisation, and I've run a careers department in a boys' secondary school.
So as we both mentioned, we both work for Moresby, which is a well-respected careers company who specialise in providing psychometric tests to our customers. And based on these results, we suggest careers and higher education subjects which match people's aptitudes, interests and personality. So Moresby's been going for over 50 years and offers an online portal for anyone who wants to find out where their strengths could lead them. By the end of this presentation, you will leave with some exercises to go away with to do in your own time, which will help you understand yourself better in the workplace and will enable you to be in a better position to make decisions about your future career. To do this, we ask you just to go and grab a pen and paper. So please just go and get those. And as I said, we'll be asking for your participation throughout the presentation using the same website that you saw the location details come through onto. And that will be given, more details will be given as we move throughout the presentation. So it will be useful today for people who fall into all 3 of these categories, but we will be focusing on people who don't know what they want to do. So there's always a range of different areas and places that people are in their career understanding. As a kind of starter, just to help, please can you visit the site on the screen there and just tell us, where is your current careers thinking? So if you've used the screen already to tell us your location, you may see the question already up on your screen. So we've got a variety so far. So 2 people have let us know. So I don't know what I want to do and I have some ideas. Oh, we've changed. So I don't know what I want to do is the main one now. Okay, I'll just give it another 10 seconds for anyone else to give us their feedback as well. And we're still on, I don't know what I want to do, so that's fantastic. Okay, that's nice and straightforward for this presentation. Let's move on. And that's okay. So for those of you who don't know what you want to do, it is absolutely fine. Many people don't know what they want to do when they start their degree. Many people don't know what they want to do following the completion of their degree, and sometimes through into their early professional lives as well. This can be quite an unsettling feeling for some people, especially for those of you who are planners. So the key to helping you make this decision is to consider where your strengths and weaknesses and your likes and dislikes lie, and also in gaining experiences. Whilst we can all get some good careers guidance from a careers professional, careers decisions need to be driven by you, and gathering these kind of key decision-making skills early on is important. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to explore how keeping your options open when choosing a university subject is important, what experiences you have, which you could gain, and how to evaluate those to promote self-understanding, alongside some exercises to help increase your self-awareness. Aside from the exercises we will send you away with today, we will explain how Moresby can help you, and finally how research can help you find your perfect career match. Catherine.
Right, keeping your options open. Well, my understanding is that you're considering a university course as the next step in your career journey. And the good news is that by making a careful choice of degree course, you can keep your career options open while you continue to work out which career path you want to pursue. So next slide, please. So how should you go about choosing what to study at university? Well, start by considering which subject or subjects you prefer at school. You could continue to study one or more of these subjects at university, or maybe a related subject. It's important to choose a subject or subjects that you really like and will motivate you to work hard. One of the main reasons students give for dropping out of university in the UK is that they weren't enjoying their course. Also consider where your main interests lie. For example, if you get on well with people and want a career where you can help people, you could consider degree courses in a social science subject, which could then open up relevant opportunities for you when you graduate. Also think about your learning style, as this can influence the type of course that will suit you. Ask yourself, how do I learn best? Do you like being taught through lectures or reading books and researching independently online? Or do you like discussing topics with others in seminars or by doing project work in small groups? Or maybe you enjoy practical hands-on work in a science lab or a design studio. Or maybe you want to put your learning into practice by undertaking a work placement as part of your degree. Before you decide on a degree course, it's really important to do your research carefully to identify courses that really interest you and that suit your learning style. If you're finding it difficult to narrow down your choice to just one or two subjects, you could consider a broader course where you can study several subjects. So here in the UK, there are lots of universities that offer broad-based courses such as natural sciences, combined arts, and liberal arts programs. Whatever you decide to study at university, there will be plenty of job options for you when you graduate. That's because lots of graduate jobs are open to graduates from any degree program. And if you want to find out where your degree could lead you after you graduate, have a look at Prospects, a graduate careers website, and in particular, the section called What Can I Do With My Degree? It'll show you the range of jobs that are possible and the transferable skills that you'll develop with any degree subject you're considering. Next slide, please. Now, self-awareness is really important in career planning. It's all about having an in-depth understanding of yourself, what interests you, what you're good at, what motivates and drives you. And this self-understanding will help you find a purposeful and fulfilling career path. I'm not sure we've got the right slide there, Jo.
No, I think I'm not sure what's happened there, but so I'm going to carry on from this point, I think, Catherine, because this is the next slide in the deck. So I'd like to start this section by telling you about my favourite career theory called planned happenstance. A major player in the world of careers theory is a guy called John Crombolts, who penned the phrase. So planned happenstance is essentially a series of planned actions that you have taken based on some vague ideas you might have that you take, which lead to new experiences, which are often positive. Basically, you need to take some action. And how does this apply to careers? Well, when I worked at LSE, I'd meet a lot of alumni who said they decided on their career or were offered a job by bumping into someone or at an event they attended, or managed to get some work experience by being in the right place at the right time. Happenstance can also happen when you volunteer or take on some work shadowing, do a part-time job alongside your studies, or take on a position of responsibility at school. You never know who you may meet, the experiences you have, or the circumstances you may find yourself in, all of which can lead to career ideas, new career ideas, knowledge and realization. Ask your parents, where has happenstance played a part in their career? Most people have a few examples they can draw on, which is why having experiences and experimenting with different ideas is such a positive thing to do, especially in the early stages of your career and while studying. As I go through this slide, please write down 2 or 3 experiences you have had. Let's look at what we mean by experience though. So work experience could be paid or unpaid work, full-time work or part-time, temporary or permanent. And it's a place where maybe you're given responsibilities for projects or tasks to complete. On meeting the various professionals during work experience, you can ask them questions about their job role, what they did before this job, how they got to where they are now, what they like and dislike about the role, and any examples of happenstance in their jobs. The same can be said for work shadowing, where you're following a professional around and watching them do their job. Simple to do, but it tells you so much about a role, gives you the opportunity to examine what you like and do not like about the career. Volunteering and positions of responsibility at school not only look great on your CV, but they give you fantastic transferable skills and are valued by employers. They'll help you learn more about yourself in a working environment too. Similarly, things that you do outside of school, education or the workplace can be valued by employers and can be used for you to gain a strong understanding of your likes, dislikes, strengths and weaknesses, such as making clothes, creating artwork, practice coding. Employers and universities are also interested in what you do during your studies. This could be the content that interests them or the transferable skills such as your ability to come up with new ideas, formulate arguments, or work as part of a team. I hope by this point you've written down some examples of experiences which you have gained. And then Catherine, the self-awareness bit.
Yes, so I'll just go over that again. So self-awareness is also really important in career planning. It's all about having an in-depth understanding of yourself, what interests you, what you're good at, what motivates and drives you. And this self-understanding will help you find a purposeful and fulfilling career path. So next slide, please, Jo. At Moresby, we use an assessment that helps to develop a person's self-awareness. The assessment measures interests and aptitudes, and based on the pattern of a person's results, we make a range of subject and career suggestions for them. Next slide, please. So let's consider what we mean by interests and aptitudes in a bit more detail. Well, interests are the things that we enjoy doing, whether that be subjects we like at school or the activities we take part in our spare time. So thinking specifically about work interests and preferences, Moresby describes the world of work in terms of job roles, where the main focus is dealing with people, handling information or data, or working with real things that can be seen or touched. You might have interests in dealing with people, maybe caring for people, advising them or persuading or influencing them. Or you might have a preference for handling information, which could be using verbal information to communicate with others, or using online information or analysing numerical data. Or maybe you prefer dealing with real things in science and engineering, or in more practical or creative areas. We find that some people's interests are focused in just one of these areas, whereas for others, they may have strong preferences in several of these areas. I wonder where your main interest or interests lie. We're going to have a poll on that in a minute. But first, I'm just going to talk about aptitudes, and these are the things that we're good at. At Moresby, our assessment measures a range of different aptitudes to help identify the types of careers a person could be well suited to. We measure verbal, numerical, and abstract reasoning aptitudes, which tell us whether your strengths lie in using words, numbers, or using visual information to solve problems. We also have 2 measures of practical aptitude, spatial awareness and mechanical insight. Now, I've noticed over the years of working with young people that those who don't know what they want to do often have an all-round aptitude profile. Their strengths in all these aptitudes mean they could adapt to a wide range of careers. Young people who are all-rounders tend to let their interests be the main influence on their career choice. So now for the poll, and it's great to see you already answering that. And you can choose up to 3 interests if you want to. So engineering and technology is heading the field there. We've got caring for people. Oh, that's come up tops now. Keeps changing. So caring for people is a strong interest. Analysing numbers, science, engineering, technology, writing, speaking, advising. Yeah, lots of interests out there. That's great.
And it's
I'm going to hand over to you now.
Yeah, thank you for taking part in that, everyone. It's good to start thinking internally about what does interest you. So that's great to see so many of you take part. So for this next section, I need you to grab your pen and paper and make a note of the following exercise, because it won't be something you can complete during this presentation. It will need to be done afterwards. The idea of this exercise is to formulate a list of your likes and dislikes, which can ultimately be applied to the workplace and careers decisions. Let me explain. So some things we do in life are a truly positive experience. For example, you might have really enjoyed school, while your best friend might have had a more negative experience. You might have found a work experience you did a fairly pointless exercise. There are key turning points throughout our professional lives where we need to evaluate what it is you want from your future. Choosing university and deciding whether to and where to study abroad is one of those pivotal times. To do this, you can create something known as a career map. This helps you map out all your experiences to date and evaluate what you found positive and not so positive in each of these experiences. This will help you to pinpoint the things you like and the things you do not like. Note down your experiences and record them next to your likes and dislikes in the role, what you gain from the experience. Here I've used blue post-it notes to show the positives gained from these experiences, and the negatives are on the peach-coloured post-it notes. So you learn from mistakes you make and you move on with this new knowledge. So you can build quite a picture of what was positive to you and what was maybe not quite so positive, and you can use that understanding to help you make further decisions. Next, what you want to do is separate the likes and dislikes until you start building this kind of tangible list. This technique can be used in other decision-making situations too. For example, when considering which area you'd like to specialise in within a particular subject, or you might want to break down your current knowledge and determine what you enjoyed and you didn't enjoy quite so much in a particular subject that you've been studying. Perhaps you really enjoyed the pure maths that made up your high school qualification, but didn't enjoy the statistics element. This might help you to focus in on a course which specifically teaches in one of these areas, or where maybe the syllabus is made up mainly of your preferred study area. Alternatively, you might not like the chaos of the post-it notes. Perhaps you'd rather lay your experiences out in a different way. A popular method is a graph at the top where you can plot your experiences across a timeline, perhaps, noting the positives and negatives, using some sort of spider diagram situation. There's also a more straightforward spider diagram, which maybe focuses on one experience at a time, giving you the space to analyse the positives and negatives, or perhaps a table, as you can see at the bottom there. We mention these different ways because obviously we know people learn and like to work in different ways. We will return to this career map shortly, and we'll build upon it with other self-assessment tools too. So your skills, you've probably heard about these things called skills. They're so important in the self-discovery phase and also during recruitment processes as well. But what are they? So skills are the things you do to achieve a goal or a task. So it's useful to understand the skills you have or the skills you do not have, and to be able to identify where you may have gaps in your skills. So you might like to consider how well you can apply those skills. So we all have strengths and weaknesses, of course. Skills come up a lot in the recruitment process as employers add skill requirements to their job descriptions and ask that candidates applying can give examples of how they've used these skills. So we can see that there are a number of skills. Here are just a few listed on our slide here. Please indicate by visiting the URL one skill from this shortlist where you think you are strongest. I'd say listening skills are my strongest area from this list. And this is all part of becoming more self-aware and helping drive forward your career decisions. So we have a couple of quite a few people here who are being very self-aware for us today. So listening skills, staying positive, and leadership skills, all extremely valuable in the recruitment process. And you know, every career has particular skills which are associated with them. So when we talk about skills gaps, what we're looking at is what type of skills does the career I'm after need, and what type of skills do I have, and where are there gaps in that kind of knowledge or that experience piece. So we have listening, staying positive, leadership, and teamwork. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for starting your journey on self-discovery there. Now we need to link our career map to our skills. So we've had our career map, we've got our skills. Going away from this presentation, I want you to each look at each experience you have written down in your careers map in turn, and spend some time thinking about the role that you took on, the responsibilities you had, the tasks, the project, the everyday things that you did that made up this piece of experience. Then consider which skills you used throughout that role. So start writing the skills around your career map. You'll start to see that you've used skills in multiple places, which is fine. So these tend to be the skills that you are used to using that become maybe second nature. You might notice the odd skill only appear once or twice. I would suggest maybe looking at the target jobs link here that I've included on the slides to help you see a list of kind of skills, give you some ideas to generate when you're thinking about the tasks and the projects that you've worked on, and therefore mapping the skills to those. On your careers map, perhaps circle your 5 strongest skills. Again, this is part of the self-discovery piece. One thing we all have in common is that we've taken part in some sort of education. Now, if education is on your career map, which it should be, then you might include skills such as independence, organisation, self-motivation. Of course, ideally, you would be becoming as specific as you possibly can be. So thinking about particular things that you have done during your education, such as presentations or major pieces of coursework, successes in the science lab, IT suite, or design and tech lab, and evaluating those individually too, thinking about the skills associated with them. I mentioned about skills gaps. So a skills audit is a really useful way to enable you to see where your skills lie, and also to help you identify those gaps. You'd need to find experiences which can help you fulfill these skills that perhaps you're lacking, that you feel maybe you might need in your future career, and hopefully enable you to experience your own planned happenstance through experience taking. The best way to approach this is to group together the skills which are repeated in your skills map and write them into a table, such as this, to conduct a skills audit. Additionally, a few skills you cannot see that you have achieved to date, using the target jobs link I included on this presentation, include those skills too. Doing so, you can begin to see where there are gaps in your skills. You don't have to fill every single cell on the skills audit, but having a couple of examples per skill is great. It might also be that you feel there is a skill you're weakest at, or you feel least confident or happy in using. This feeling and the skills audit can help you write a goal, such as get experience in an office to gain admin skills, or get a customer service job or voluntary position to increase my confidence in communicating with people. By this stage, you should start to see your careers map growing. You'll have built a wonderful list of skills and have recorded the tasks and responsibilities you held in each position. All of this brilliant self-awareness can be referred back to during your recruitment processes in the future, when perhaps you're asked to give examples of a time you used a particular skill. Catherine.
Okay, well, I want to focus now on the research that you can do to help you plan your career path. So by undertaking careful and thorough research, you'll be well placed to make informed decisions about your future. So next slide, please. I've already mentioned Moresby's assessment, which is a useful tool to give you some career direction. If you're interested in purchasing our assessment, do have a look at moresby.com. The next few slides show some screenshots from a sample assessment to give you an idea of what to expect. So this one shows a set of aptitude test results, and the interpretation underneath lists the types of careers that match this candidate's profile. This slide shows a set of interest results based on the candidate's answers to a questionnaire. Their strongest interests are advising people and analysing numbers. Next one. Here we see the results of the personality assessment, which describes the way a person thinks and feels and behaves. Next one. And here are some of the career suggestions for this candidate. You'll notice several healthcare job roles shown here, which match with their combined interest in advising people and working in science. Next slide. And here are some of the degree course suggestions for our sample candidate. You can see that healthcare and science courses have been suggested. Next slide. And here are some more ideas for researching your career options. So why not speak to people about their jobs to help you gain insight into what a specific job role involves? I wonder if there's anyone among your family or friends whom you could talk to informally, or search on LinkedIn for contacts. There are lots of videos online of people talking about their jobs which you could watch. YouTube is a good place to find relevant videos. And why not consider a short online course to help you with your research? MOOCs stands for Massive Open Online Courses, and these are freely available on the internet. You could also attend talks given by professionals. Maybe your school or employers in your local area arrange this type of activity. And try to get some relevant experience. Work experience or volunteering are both great ways of testing out your career ideas and helping you to develop your skills. And here are some examples of websites you could use to explore your career options in more detail. And now goal setting. Next slide, please, Jo. So the last thing I'm going to talk about today is goal setting. This is all about helping you to take the next steps in your career journey so you can make an informed decision about what to study at university and the type of career to aim for. It's a good idea to write your goals down, but to do so in SMART terms. So this means each goal needs to be very specific. You should be able to measure when you've achieved it. Only create goals that are attainable for you to achieve and relevant to your current situation, and give yourself a timescale for completing each goal. So an example of a goal could be to attend a university open day on a specific date, or to talk to a family friend about their career, maybe in the next month. Now, after this presentation is over, we strongly recommend that you revisit what we've shared today and decide on some specific goals to help you move forward. Okay, Jo, over to you.
Whilst the exercises you've done today won't magically tell you what career you want to pursue, they will enable you to create goals, gain experiences and confidence, and start to understand yourself in the jobs market. On taking action, you will experience planned happenstance yourself. Take the opportunities which are presented to you. No good careers interaction would be complete without you considering what your next steps are going to be on leaving today's presentation. So again, please use a URL to let Catherine and I know at least one step you'd like to take as a result of listening to today's presentation. Also, please do continue to reevaluate these exercises throughout your professional life as you grow, gain more experiences, and get to points where you want to reevaluate your direction. The latest research shows that the average person has around 7 jobs during their professional life. So begin the process of self-learning and decision-making now, and the sky is your limit. Don't have any responses as of yet. At this point, I will obviously invite you to continue to enter any steps you're going to take as a result of this presentation, or enter any questions into the Q&A box.
Joanne and Catherine, thank you so much. That was incredibly helpful. We'll wait just a minute to see if there's any questions or responses to the poll. But as a reminder, there was a great list of next steps there for students, including visiting morrisby.com and signing up there.
Thank you. So someone said that they want to make a note of their interests and aptitudes. I think that's a fantastic place to start. Yeah.
Wait just another 30 seconds or so, and then we are perfectly on time. Again, thank you so much for your time. For the students in the audience, thank you for joining us. We hope that you found this useful. We have all of the webinars from THE Student Careers Week available on demand. And we have 2 more sessions this week, one later this afternoon and one tomorrow. So please mark your calendars for those as well. Jo and Catherine, a massive thanks for sharing. It's always a pleasure to have you at THE student events, and we really enjoyed hearing from you.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.